Hey, this is actually me from the future. Before the video even started, just wanted to give you guys a little heads up. I do have a small sneak peek at my next project at the very end of the video, so stick around for that. Hey, what's going on, YouTube? So today I decided to completely tear apart the engine on the Subaru project. I actually did this last night, so I already got the motor out. I got one of the cylinder heads off because I wanted to see exactly what happened with this motor. And surprise, surprise, it did not actually blow a head gasket, but it did bend a couple valves. So you can see how that one just hung open. You can see like each valve essentially got kissed by the piston. So I will be replacing both of the cylinder heads. I did get myself a little long block to replace it with, so I will be essentially just stealing the heads off of it. I already got them off. So these are what it's supposed to look like, not hit by the piston. Supposedly this may have had a bad head gasket, so that's kind of why I didn't just toss the whole block in there. And it's been sitting a while. I know this motor was running, and it's only got about 150,000 miles. And I kind of believe it, because I think this was the very first time the motor had ever been pulled. So everything looks super clean on it, other than, you know, clearly bent valves. But even the intake ports look great. Didn't look like it was sucking in a bunch of oil or anything like that from like having like a ton of blow by or like out of the breathers, stuff like that. So it looks like it was pretty healthy shape. So we already got some brand new timing components on it as well, so that is a win. So we'll just reuse, we'll just squeeze the tensioner down and we'll reuse the belt that it came with. He said he had already replaced this guy because his tensioner was what exploded and it led to the whole chewing of the timing belt. He did put a new timing belt in it and it did not work for him, so we'll reuse all that stuff. So really the next step is to remove the passenger side cylinder head. And again, I did try to do it while it was in the car. I did want to just pull the cylinder heads off in here, and no, it was not happening. That shit sucked. So I just pulled the entire motor. So yeah, I'll go ahead, get the cylinder head removed, and then we'll see how this side looks. Alright, so I got the valve cover off, and immediately nothing really sticks out. So the other side did have like, oh, there we go. So I'm guessing that we're probably gonna have some loose or some bent exhaust valves on this guy. So this one feels kind of loose. All the rest of them feel pretty snug, other than this guy. So I think this guy is gonna have some bent exhaust valves. So to remove the head, it's literally 6 bolts. And the whole thing pops off. So this engine's actually very simple to work on. So it's actually been pretty delightful to work on it, but a little bit of a pain in the ass because it does seem like I am the very first person in here, because it even had the factory valve cover gaskets, not the blue ones from Felpro that everyone uses. So it's actually kind of nice. So we'll go ahead, zip these bolts out, and see how the inside looks. Alright, now let's see what's behind door number 2. And it looks like it was actually bent intake valves. So these things are super bent. Yeah, you can see where the piston found the intake valves on both sides. Looks like the exhaust valves actually got away scot-free. So I don't see any kind of smack or anything on these like we did on the other cylinder head. But these are definitely bent, which is kind of a shame because this motor is actually in really nice shape. So kind of sucks that happened because the inside of this motor is super spotless. Just judging by like the oil buildup or the carbon buildup, all that stuff looks really good. So alright, let's get the other heads, get them slapped on, and move on with this project. Okay, so after spending a few minutes cleaning up the gasket surface on the block, we can go ahead and lay our Velcro gasket in there. Do a nice little test fit. Everything seems like it's fitting up nicely. So now I'll go ahead, grab the cylinder head, bring that over, clean that up, and then toss it off. Alright, cylinder head is prepped, the block is prepped, the head gasket is on for the final time, and now just to slap it on. So the new head is a little on the crusty side, but if you ever want to test the valves, essentially just thread the spark plug in, put some water in here, and see if it leaks out of any of the orifices, out of either the intake ports or the exhaust ports. So I'm just going to say these are good and kind of just risk it for the biscuit and send it. Alright, and after getting one cylinder head on, we'll go ahead, repeat the process on this side, clean all this bullshit up, and really make sure that the mating surface is as clean as possible. We'll toss the head back on, and then we'll plop this motor back in its home and see if it runs. Alright, and after doing both cylinder heads, I went ahead, tossed a fresh gasket on the water pump, even swapped the water pump because this one looked like it was recently replaced on the other motor. The Gates belt pretty much looked brand new, so I reused it. It was a little bit difficult seeing the timing marks, but you can see them on there. So everything lined up. The motor has compression, which it did not have before, so we are already, you know, leaps and bounds above where we were at before. Reinstalled the tensioner after I compressed it. So I think this motor is pretty much good to go. Back in its home. Now, unfortunately, I am going to have to go pick up some hoses, sensor. These are they're just so brittle that they literally just broke off. Trying to find like a little piece of that rubber hose that was on there. It was just so brittle that it literally just crumbles in your hand. So unfortunately, I won't be able to toss the intake on today. So maybe I will, maybe I won't if the parts store has the parts. So we'll be able to at least install the motor, get that in there, get everything somewhat buttoned up, and maybe the accessories, but we'll see. Hopefully the parts store has that sensor, some vacuum line, we'll toss that on there, and hopefully we'll get this thing about 90% done today. Alright, so I got the motor in already. It was a little bit of a bear putting in the motor by myself, just because trying to shimmy the transmission and align it with the lower pins on the block, just because the lower bolts are essentially studs. One thing I do got to do still is rob the exhaust studs off of the cylinder heads, since the new motor did not come with those. Also, I did kind of take a little bit of a break on this thing, just because I got tired. I've been working on this thing since the morning. So I rebuilt the motor, put it back in, all in one day. I think all that really is left is the intake manifold, but unfortunately the purge valve broke as I was disassembling it. So there you can see the two little ports broke off because the vacuum lines are just, this is one of the original vacuum lines. It is just like rock hard. So those broke. Same with some other like vacuum line. It's just so deteriorated that it's just super hard. So all that stuff broke. So I think I can still get the vacuum or the intake manifold on. Get that guy installed today. So at least the car will be fully assembled until I can order a new one of those sensors. So where the sensor does go, it goes here on the underside of the intake manifold, and then yeah, you can just see where some of those lines, that vacuum line right there, where it just broke off too. So nothing I can do but literally wait until that sensor comes in. So I'm just gonna go ahead and see if I can stab this in, and hopefully I can get to that sensor when it arrives, and hopefully finish installing the rest of this and be able to start it up. No issues. Cool. So really the next step is toss the intake manifold on, toss the factory filter on, you know, connect everything, and essentially this car should be done and ready to roll until that sensor comes in and we can plug up all these vacuum leaks and call it a day. So that will be our next step. So I'm gonna get this installed and get the rest of the pulleys done. Well, there it is. Started right up after I made sure that the spark plugs were hooked up correctly. And there was my issue. Alright, well, it's another day working on the Subaru. Don't mind that, that's from my truck, the AC. But I kind of forgot to record the rest of the install for everything else on the car. Alright, sorry about that, got interrupted opening the hood. But I kind of went ahead and put everything back together, but it wasn't really much. All I had to do was install that one intake pipe, put fresh plug wires, and an evap sensor and a tensioner for the AC. So really just little nitty-gritty stuff in the fans. Nothing crazy. Did go ahead and replace the old rotten battery terminal because it was so bad I couldn't even jump start the thing just because I couldn't get a good connection. So went ahead, put fresh fluids in the car, and I do need keys, and got her working. So right now she will be at temp because I did start it just now recently. Kind of missed the first start, so but starts right up. Like even on first startup, after I got the battery situation fixed, it was a couple cranks to get probably like fuel pressure and oil pressure built up into like certain areas, and I think one of my spark plug wires just wasn't fully slammed in on the cylinder head side. But once I did all that stuff, this thing just literally started right up, purrs. It did smoke initially, so I'm guessing the old motor. So I think the old motor just burned a ton of oil, led to a lot of smoke coming out of the tailpipe. But after about 5 minutes, it just cleared right up. So usually I try not to freak out right away with little bits of smoke. As long as it's not pouring out fluids out of somewhere or pressurizing the coolant system, I'm totally fine with it. And I just realized this thing actually has an aftermarket muffler. I don't know what brand it is, but it's definitely louder than stock. So the stereo works great. It's got a little bit of exhaust. That's nice. So now we got a nice functioning running car. The AC is actually kind of kicking pretty nice, even though I think one of the lines is leaking, but I went ahead and ordered it just in case. Now, unfortunately, I do have a broken little vent here. Maybe I can find that before this thing sells and find a new little cover up here. It would be nice to probably toss on some fresh door cards that aren't all chewed up, but after we kind of steam cleaned them, they cleaned up pretty nice. It's just that they're all wrinkly and ugly. So if I find something, I'll swap them out before it sells. Again, this car is just a little bit of a stepping stone. So this was just a project. Buy something cheap, get it running for pretty cheap. I will admit I did procrastinate on building it. I do have a check engine light, so I got to figure out what that is. Probably just a dumb sensor. But for what I got into it, for what the car is, I think it's a great car. E-brake works, transmission works. We got reverse. We got drive, and it's nice and torquey and super responsive. So it's like one of those where it's like the moment you let off the brake, it just wants to go. I always like that style of transmission versus one where you got to rev the thing up and it just wham, it like finally decides to go. So all that works. Here we got a gross cup holder that needs a little bit of cleaning, but that's fine. So I think I'm falling in love with this car, and I'm gonna be sad if it goes. So next order of business is to wash the damn thing because it is nasty. So I think I'm a little low on light for today, so I think tomorrow I'll pick it up with this thing getting a nice car wash, and then we'll take it out for a nice little drive. Alright, so decided to take this thing for a little cruise. This car may or may not be sold now, but this thing is driving fantastic. So right now just kicking it to the tunes, cruising on the freeways 70 miles an hour, just chilling. It's actually a really nice car, super comfortable, but unfortunately some circumstances means it's got to go. So we'll go ahead, let this car go, and kind of move on to the next project. See what else we can get into. Ooh, and that is a Supra right there. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead, keep driving this thing around, and maybe meet up with the potential buyer. and if it's sold, then I'll update you guys on how it went. Alright, well, the Subaru is actually gone. So, now, I get to play with this and that stupid thing. And let's see, what are we at? We are just shy of 100 degrees today, so yeah. Meanwhile, I get to fixing the tow rig. I think it's finally time to show the new project, which is finally going to give that thing a break. So meanwhile, I sweat my balls off out here in this weather in the sun, fixing this stupid thing. Please enjoy the sneak peek at what is potentially replacing this. I think you guys are gonna like it. I think it's gonna be a super cool build. It's one of those things that it's like, when I first saw it, I wanted it immediately, just because of how I grew up with working with my dad. I wanted to build the ultimate version of that truck, and I think this is it. So I'm gonna get back to working on this dumb thing. You guys enjoy the sneak peek. I'll see you guys later.
The thing is, I don't have the keys, dude. I have them, but I can't find them.
Okay.
It's all brand new inside. Never even used it. They just used it for the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So yeah, it's just missing the shelves for it.
I don't know. This is how I got it, bro.
Yeah.
There was nothing. There was no shelves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I mean, some Harbor Freight toolboxes or something.
But this one, I think, has a diesel tank on this side. Like in the movie when they're refilling it.
Yeah.
I think
No.
it was right there. No, it was on one of these. Oh, here it looks. A fueler, see?
Yeah, just a
It was
hole.
like a fueler for the thing.
It's got this plate in here. I don't know if this is a. No, it's just a like
you need
a faux.
to research it, what that is, because I don't know.
Yeah, this is just like a plate. It's nothing underneath it. Honestly, it's just hollow by the feel of it.
I have a fuel cell. I have a cell when I'm selling it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's really silty.
Yeah, because it's really dusty up here.
Yeah.
Oh, there, look at.
Oh, those are the U-bolts?
Yep.
Okay, sweet. So
Yeah, so that was the fuel tank for the truck, and that was the tank that goes in there.
Yeah,
But
for
it had a
the.
handle, like if you look at the movie.